Hello, welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live with myself and, although Jenny's not here, Paul and Jenny from Host for Ghosts, Angela from South Coast Ghost, Julia from Paranation Ghost Hunting Events, and Luke, one of our lead investigators there in the bottom left corner. Well, I think he's in the bottom left corner, not quite sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I hope you all had a great weekend. We did. We had a great investigation on Saturday night with Paranation, so we'll go into that shortly after this. But it was a good night. Lots of people there. Great night. So we'll go into that now. And obviously, we'll talk to Julia about up-and-coming events coming soon, which you really need to get your tickets and come along and join a great group of people, a great group of investigators with many, many years of experience amongst us. So if you can't get anything with us, I don't think you'll get anything with anyone. So stay tuned. So, well, Saturday night, Merrist Wood. We went again. There's a few months ago we went there, so we went back again to another event. Hi, Nicola Phillips. Hi, all.
Hello.
So we went back on Saturday night. It was eventful night because it was like it didn't want us to go back in the house because a few things happened before we got in the house, didn't it, Julia? And you think this is not meant to happen. You know, this was not meant to be right tonight. Wasn't it, Julia, when we got there?
Yeah, we always turn up, you know, I get quite anxious before an event, and we always try and turn up in good time before an event so that we can go in, we can organise, you know, the tea room, you know, where we want this and where we want the chairs. We can sort the chairs out. If there's a caretaker on site, we do all the health and safety checks with the caretaker. And maybe sort of go and see the areas that we haven't got access to. So there's a lot of things that we do before people even arrive on site. So, you know, we have to like, you know, sort of go through all the health and safety and everything. With this event, the caretaker is fine. They just open the doors, in we go. And, you know, we have a fantastic time. But we turned up in plenty of time and opened the front door. It was open, fantastic. Let's get sorted. We can be all ready for when everyone arrives. They haven't got us sort of like, you know, busying about doing stuff. We're all relaxed, you know, because everything's set up and everything. Went to open the next door. I was like, oh my God, I can't get in, can't get in. So we waited and we waited and we're like, oh, we still can't get in. No sign of, and this guy walked up with a dog and I thought, oh, is he the caretaker? So I chatted to him and he rang somebody. And then Paul said, oh, do you remember we got the caretaker's number? Hi, Christine. And
Hi, Christine.
I was like, oh, gosh, do you have it? Do you have it? So we rang the caretaker and they came up and they couldn't open the door either. And I'm like, oh, no, this is not going well. Maybe we'll just have to go in the back way or go in another way. But we have to be in here. But she managed to open the door from the other side and we were all in. But it was quite hair raising. People were starting to arrive and turn up and we were all standing outside of our equipment thinking, just look relaxed.
Don't panic,
like
Mr. Mannering.
Don't panic. But there was definitely, something was definitely saying, because she said that she had a group in there earlier in the day. And she said, oh, yeah, they would have just left the door open. And we knew you were coming, so we just left the doors open for you. So it's like, you know, something had like said, no, you're not coming in tonight. So, yeah, it was your friends. Did they see something?
one of the rooms there had defibrillator dummies in it.
Yes.
Laid on the floor and they were propped against the window like they were looking out the window. Which looked quite creepy. So we couldn't get in, and we were looking at dummies looking at us. So it's not it wasn't a great start to the night, really. And some friends of mine pulled up, and we sort of meted and greeted, like, you know, the cool cucumbers that we are. Yeah, we'll be in a minute. Don't worry. Yeah, this is all how it goes on, and sort of trying to thinking, oh my God, where is he? Is he coming? And then the lady turned up and couldn't get in. With her lanyard, she couldn't get the door open, so we're like, this is not going well, this one. And this is around about 7:45 now. So she said, I'll go off and get my lanyard, I'll come back and try and go through a different door.
Well, so eventually hurry up.
So she bombed off in her car, came back, didn't she? and then she managed to get in and open the door from the inside. So we were in. So it was a mad rush going in. And you know yourself, as you open the door, everybody starts to lean towards going in the door. But we were trying to get the tin and all the equipment in through the door, the tables and everything. So a friend of mine from work went, never been on there before on a paranormal night. He went with his wife. They're really interested in it. And they often sometimes come on here and watch this live. So he said to me, "Are you doing one local?" So I said, "Yeah, we're at Guildford with Paranation. Go on there, book your ticket, come along." And as they pulled up, I saw him walked out. I said, "Go and have a look around the house. You know, while we try and get in." I didn't, you know, we're trying to get in, but go and have for a walk around the gardens. And as they pulled up, they sort of looked up at the house and said, "Oh, what a beautiful house this is." And they saw a woman in the top window looking out. And he thought, "Well, that's a bit odd. If they can't get in, who's actually in there then?" So eventually we got in and we all got in, and then people started to filter in. Some of the known teams that we know very well came, which was really nice for catch up. You know, Spirit Brothers were there, so it was nice to have a catch up with them. We hadn't seen them for a while because they'd been on doing other stuff, and Infinity Paranormal were there. It was great to see them back again. You know, a lot of familiar faces, which was great, which is what you want to see, because obviously you're doing something right when you're getting them back. So once we got in, we sort of set up, and people were wandering in and out, and teas and vapes and all sorts of things. And we called for the children from the lobby and see if we could get them. And I actually went and bought. Well, I got it online. You know these plasma balls with the electric things inside it. When you touch it, they move like that. So I thought I'd take that with us and try that. You know, it might not work there, but it might work somewhere else. So we had that to try out. So the night started well, I thought. You know, had the safety talk about, and everybody sort of knew where they wanted to go, and it was like, whoosh, gone. It was empty, wasn't it, Julie? We're like, okay, so where is everybody? And there was probably 4, 5 newbie people, maybe 6. I'm not sure.
Yeah, one. There was a few, wasn't?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember. Let me just check my little list. But yeah, we did have a few newbies, didn't we?
But yeah, which was nice to see. Obviously, my friend from work and his wife were new. They'd never done that type of thing before. You know, they've been interested in watching us on the live, as I say, and listen to the stories at work. He always comes over and says, you know, what happened Saturday? What went on? What was it like? And, you know, I said, yeah, you must come along and experience it for yourself. So because until you experience it, it's, you know, you don't know, do you? It's the unknown, isn't it?
Yeah. I think we had about 10 newbies.
Oh, was it? As many as that?
Yeah.
So there was one guy there with his wife that come from Walton-on-Thames. I imagine it's his wife. And he said he'd done a few paranormal nights, but had not been very much happened to him. You know, he was sort of not disappointed, but reluctant. So I said to him, just wander around, you know, join in a group, join up a group, you know, do your own stuff, you know. And you know yourself, Angela and Luke, when you go into that place, it's just vast, isn't it? It's just rooms and rooms everywhere. So anyway, they wandered off. Everybody sort of disappeared. Julia went off with a small group to do a bit. I went off with Luke, my friend and his wife, and a couple of other people. So we headed to the second floor or the first floor, and we went to the corridor again, Angela. That, you know, that corridor we were last time. So we were standing in there calling out. Didn't really visually see anything, did we, Luke? It was a bit,
no.
But we kept hearing taps and knocks. So I said, okay, we'll do a voice recording and see whether we can get something on the voice recorder. And it was sort of just going dark, not massively dark, but it was just going dark. So I put the voice recorder on, called out like you do, and then we sort of played it back a minute or two later, and we could hear a woman's voice, wasn't it, Luke? We're saying, is there anybody here? Is there? Yes.
Yeah.
Clearly on the thing. We were like, oh, okay. We didn't hear it audibly. We just heard it on the voice recorder. Oh, right. Thank you for that. Blah, blah, blah. So we were carrying on doing that. And then we could hear this dunk, 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 dunk.
Yeah.
And it went dunk, 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 dunk. And we're thinking, okay, who's on the floorboards? So we were trying to debunk it, like it's someone shifting their weight on the floorboard. So we all had to go at like shifting weights. We had a bit of a creak from the floorboard, so we knew what the creak was, but we could not reproduce the running. And when I played it back and the voice recorded it's actually probably 2 or 3 children, I suppose, running down the corridor, literally like they were running, wasn't it, Luke? And we're like, what? What's going on here? So we had some good phenomenon there. And on the corridor, I think there was quite a few of us in there. The actual door to the landing opened, but there was nobody there. There's somebody, I think it was Dora's husband, Sean, and he said, that door's opening. That door's come open. The door is moving. Hi, Dora. Hello, everybody. Saturday investigation. We didn't let down. It was an amazing. I must say, it was only Sean's second time, and he really enjoyed it. And was really into it. He was brilliant. His second time, and he noticed the door opening, but there was nobody there. There was no draft, so because we opened the door and checked it, so we decided to do. There's a room where the lady saw the lady when we first got there. There's a room with a fan in the window, and this was my friend's wife, and she said, "Can we go in that room? Are we allowed to go in there?" I said, "Yeah, you can go in any room that's not locked, but obviously don't disturb anything on the desks, and just if you pull a chair out, make sure you just put it back, that sort of thing." So we went into the room where the fan was in the window. It was really strange because we went in there and she walked straight over into the corner and sat in the corner. Didn't she, Luke?
Yeah.
She sat in the corner and she said, "I'm going to cry."
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Really?
And I said, "Oh,
Yeah.
oh, are you? Oh, would you like to go out?" She says, "No, this is where I saw the lady. I saw her looking out this window and I just really want to cry. I'm so emotional in this corner." So I think she was picking up on that lady's energy.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
And she said she's never, ever been on a paranormal night. She's a little bit sensitive, she said, but I've never been so overwhelmed with emotions. I was standing in the corner. So, which was quite good for them to experience that. And her husband's, my friend, was saying, "You sure?" She said, "I know what I'm feeling. I feel so upset, so emotional in this corner." And she actually cowered down in the corner, didn't she, Luke?
Yeah, she did, yeah.
Like she was cowling in the corner.
Right, yeah, she did, yeah.
And I'm like,
was she a child or was she did she feel like she was an adult or did she feel like she was a child? Or
what did you reckon, Luke, she looked like?
I think it was like maybe a little girl.
Yeah.
Female. It was a female energy, it was. Yeah.
Definitely female, yeah.
Yeah.
And she was cowering in the corner, like, you scold a child and they hide in the corner. She was like that in the corner.
Yeah.
And I said to her, "Are you sure you're okay and you don't need to come out of this area, to have a bit of a breather?" She said, No, I feel so emotional. Something, I don't know what it is. And I think where that lady was is where she sat. She went directly straight into the corner of the office. Nowhere else, no on seats, nothing like that. Straight to the corner of the office.
Because we were upstairs and we were in the attic. First of all, we were in the room to the right of the front door, with the big leather doors. And we were doing some like glass moving and bits and pieces in there. And the Alice box came out with TEA. T. Don't think much of it, do you? But a lady who was with us said, "That's my name."
Oh.
She came from Croatia. She said, "And that's how you spell it." And I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
"Well, I've got no idea what what anybody's name is. We're all in it together. Names don't mean a thing, do they? You just like enjoy being with other people. You don't even know what they're called." And and she was doing the dowsing rods, and she was really good at it. And she said, "I've never used this before." And then we went out in the garden. That's another story. We also went up into the attic, and we were doing psychic transfiguration in there with Cheryl, and then there was these 2 other ladies, T and Chelsea, and they still, "Can we ever go?" "Yeah, of course you can. You can have a go." And when Chelsea was doing it, she was doing it all very well, and all of a sudden she just burst into tears, and she said, "I just feel really emotional."
Mm.
And she said, it's really unlike me, but I just feel really emotional. So maybe that had something to do with your lady who felt emotional.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the same spirit that was going around people.
Quite
So we had
possibly.
something very similar, very, very similar.
But that room up right in the attic, when we first went in there, it was like a room that something bad has happened in. And a few people come out and said, "Have you been to the attic?" We went, yeah. They said, "Why do we feel so awful going in there? So much doom and gloom." Because when we first walked in there, when you get a really light head, like you're on a boat, and it's like, and it was just like that, Andrew. As you walk through the door, it was like, whoa, and you were like, on a boat. It was, wasn't it, Luke? It was so. I don't know whether that's the energy in the room or what had gone on, but it was very much like that in the attic. And a lot of people that went up there, even the Spirit Brothers, said something's bad's happened up here. He said because that energy in that room is something else. So we were back down in where the lady saw the other lady. So we were calling out, and we had the Alice box on. Lou put it on, and it came out with some really interesting lady. I think upset something. It was. You think you're okay. This is sort of along what we would expect to see. Anyway, we were looking at the door. I think was Gemma there with us, wasn't she?
Yeah, Gemma was there. Yeah.
Gemma was there. You know what Gemma's like? She's jumpy at the best of times, isn't she? And then she felt something stroke her. I'm sure it stroked her hair or touched her. Of course, she's up and she's on the starter's orders, isn't she, Gemma? She's like, whoa, I don't like that. And something,
heading for the door.
And we're like, whoa. Gemma's
I
off.
wasn't there. I didn't touch her.
No, we did look in the fireplace see if you'd sneaked in, but you weren't there. So obviously everybody was on a bit of an edge. So we closed the office door and we were sort of calling out there. And then for about, I don't know, a minute, it was pretty quiet, but quiet beyond quiet. So you think something's going to happen here. Something is going to happen. And Luke's saying, and then, that's right, it all quiet. And then the fridge switched on. So that caused everybody's jumped because the fridge, we're all on edge because it's gone quiet, it's gone dark. So we're looking in the hall through the crack of the door into the hallway, and there was a massive white light, like somebody with a torch. Oh. And then we saw a dark shadow walk past the door.
Yeah.
Wasn't it, Luke? Do you remember? I looked at Luke.
Yes,
we looked at everybody in the room, went, "What was that?" Mm-hmm. And even my friend and his wife went, "Who's just walked down there?" So my friend and me, we opened the door very gingerly, just in case. And this was split seconds after the flash of the light, and the shadow gone. We walked out the door, and there was nobody in the hallway. There was people in the room next to us, but there's no way that they could have got in that room and that door shut without us hearing. So they were already there. So we don't actually know what we saw in the hallway, but a flash and what looked like a black shadow walking past the door quite slowly, deliberately, like slowly. So we rushed out the door.
Your friends to experience all that.
He's like looking at me going, "You sure it's safe to go out?" And I'm thinking, well, why am I first one to go out the door? Because if there's something there, it surely should be someone else to experience. I don't always need to experience these things. So we gingerly opened the door and sort of rushed out. Sorry. And then we looked down the corridor. There was nobody there, but there was people in the next door office. But the door was shut and they were doing very quietly. And we're standing there thinking, well, if they'd have just gone in the room, we'd have heard the door shut, and there was no one there. Anyway, so we're sitting there, and then suddenly, I think a little while later, we could hear footsteps in the corridor, wasn't it, Luke? Dunk, 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 dunk. Like someone walking the corridor. We're like, well, what was that then? So we went outside, had a look. Again, no one. And just a split second later, the Spirit Brothers come around the corner. I said, "Oh, you boys just walk this way." They went, No, we're following some footsteps we can hear. So they were like trying to follow the footsteps. So they were wandering around. So we caught them as they were coming past us. And he said, we've heard something. We're trying to work out where it is. But we heard footsteps come past the door, but there was nobody there. So that was really interesting in that office to see that through the crack of the door, the bright white light and the shadow figure. Where did we go from there then, Luke? We went to...
the garden downstairs was it again?
Oh, that's right. You went downstairs, didn't you, with your mum and a few others?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the story about what happened to your mum in the garden?
Is your mum
But-
there? Can she come and
Yeah,
tell
she's
us?
there.
Does she want to do it?
Lynn?
What did I say?
Put it on the camera or
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
trying to. He's...
Don't know.
Lynn, tell
Where
us
is she?
what happened
There she's
in the
there.
garden. Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
Tell us about the garden.
Well, we all standing out in the garden. You was there, Julia, weren't you, as well?
Yeah.
I had this big, massive thud on my back. I thought like someone threw a stone at me. I don't know what it was. And then she hurt my back. She just like someone just threw something. Whoa! And this back, you heard it as well, didn't you, Julia? Yeah.
Yeah, I was about 2
Yeah.
foot from you, and I just heard
Don't know
this
what-
sort of like,
Yeah.
almost like a sort of
Yeah, it
like, you know,
was.
on as if I think
Yeah.
Lynn had like a jacket on, and
Yeah,
you
I
could just
did.
hear it as if like a stone had
Big
like
thud,
hit
like a big thud, wasn't it, or something?
fabric. Yeah, I can't even make the
Bloody
noise, but
hurt.
yeah,
I had
and
to
I
take
just
some paracetamol afterwards. That bloody hurt.
yeah,
Take some painkillers.
there was
Well-
people about 3
Yeah.
foot behind Lynn because people had
Ross
like all
was-
gathered
was it
around.
Ross? I
And
thought it
Ross
was
was
Ross
like-
for a minute.
Yeah, I thought it was like, you know,
My
being a naughty
brother.
little
I thought,
brother and like throwing a stone at you.
yeah.
But-
He was miles away from me, wasn't he?
Some people said there was stuff dropping off the trees, but it wasn't
Yeah.
something that dropped off the
No,
trees.
it
It was
wasn't.
literally
No.
because I looked as if say, "Oh my god, did something hit Lynn?" You know,
Yeah.
because I heard something like hit her back. Well, I thought
Yeah.
I did. Looked at
Yeah.
Lynn,
Bloody hurt.
and yeah, it was like a decent sized rock hitting
Yeah, it was.
the back of someone's coat. That's what it
Yeah.
sounded like.
Yeah, it was.
A very
Never mind.
strange thing.
I looked
Yeah,
at everybody else, and
strange.
everybody else was just standing there, taking in what we were doing.
Yeah.
So if it was
Strange,
somebody that
isn't
had thrown something, one of them would like look guilty or have like a bit of a smirk on their
Yeah.
face or something. But
Yeah.
Strange, wasn't it?
and we looked on the floor, we couldn't find a rock or anything, and
No.
um,
There's no acorns or nothing, was there? Nothing like that.
No.
it was
Acorn?
bigger than an
Someone-
acorn, though, wasn't it? The
Yeah, it
sound
must
of
have been, yeah, like a stone. You
yeah.
saw a mark on
Somebody
my
said
back
they
today,
looked.
you did, you said.
Little Bruce.
There's a little bruise there. There was a little bruise there, actually. Look, found some on my back. Took a picture on my
Yeah.
back.
But even if somebody was like
Little
3 foot
bruise.
behind Lynn, they would have had to go like that to sort of
Yeah.
really sort of throw it at her.
Yeah.
You'd have heard the arm move, wouldn't you? Really, someone
Yeah,
had
you
thrown it.
were.
Yeah, but there was no stones around or anything. There was like
No.
little twigs
No,
that
it
have fallen off
wasn't.
the tree, but
Yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah,
But
it was.
out in the garden was quite active in the evening, wasn't it?
Mm. Yeah,
Because
very
we
active.
were out there a bit later, weren't we, Luke? And we were standing there. I think
Okay.
your mum was with us, and I can't remember who else was with us.
Your friend
Laura,
was-
Sean, I think a few others.
Yeah.
Again, we could hear rustling coming through the trees, like we're saying, "Can you come out of the shadow? Can you come and join us?" And it was just like someone walking through the trees coming out. So we're thinking, where is this coming? Suddenly someone going to appear in front of us, coming out of the darkness. And at one stage, I thought I heard a horse coming up the hill by the side of us. And I said, that sounds like a horse. But obviously, there was nothing there. So the garden was pretty on it like the time, wasn't it,
Yeah.
for the evening? And then we went back to the corridor again, didn't we, Luke? See what me and myself and you, didn't we?
Did you?
And I know I'd left my camera there on a tripod static, so I know it was fully charged. And every time we were standing there, we just turned off. So I switched it back on. The battery was showing full. I'm thinking, what's going on here? And the infrared lights were flashing on and off, like pulsing. But they're all fully charged. So I'm not sure what that is or why that did that. But a few times we thought we could hear movement, didn't we, Luke? And we weren't quite sure. But it was very active in that way, very audible rather than visual. Although someone did see the lady look out the window, and obviously Lynn got hit by whatever that was thrown at her. Because I know somebody said, "Oh, Lynn's just been hit with something." And I said, "What do you mean hit with something?" She said, "Something thrown at her, it's hit her in the back." I'm like, "Right, it's hurt her." I think somebody looked and couldn't see anything at that time, but obviously it's now bruised. So where do we go from there then? Judy, what other experience did you have?
We went to the leather door room. We had some glass moving in there. We did some planchette writing as well, which didn't really, one was a bit of a scribble. And to be honest, the evening went so fast. I wish I'd done more planchette stuff.
No.
We then went to the blue room, which is like behind that room. No, we went out to garden, came back, went into the blue room, and we had a group of people, some newbies. So we did the planchette writing again, and it looked like, because you couldn't really see what it was drawing, and when we looked at the picture, our interpretation of it was like a tree with what looked like, can I say a banana? With a noose around its neck.
Right. Okay.
So we thought it looked like a tree, and the hanging, and someone was being hung. That was our interpretation, even though it did look like a banana. But this is a ghost drawing something. So
Yeah.
but, it was quite interesting.
Oh, that's right, Dora. Yeah, Dora's spot. Paul, don't forget to say about the little sword appearing in the little hallway upstairs just after a very clear. We heard footsteps coming towards us. We were upstairs in an office just off the corridor, and as you come up top of the stairs, it was to the left, wasn't it, Luke? Like a little office to the left of the landing. So I thought, oh, we'll go in there, give it a try. That looks quite good. So we went in there. We were staying there calling out, and we had the K2s flashing, but you could hear people walking up the stairs. So we went back out and shut the main door. So try and make it a little bit more quieter. So there was me, Dora, Sean, Luke. I think Gemma was there at the time, or did Gemma come in a bit later?
Yeah, a bit later, I think she's come in.
Anyway, we're all in the room. I think Gemma came in a bit later. So we're standing there and obviously turn the lights out. So the corridor has an office, and if you look out, it's like a corridor to another fire door. Suddenly, one stage we could see the door and see the hallway and all that. Suddenly, we couldn't see any of it. It suddenly all disappeared, went dark. We're like, okay, what's going on here? So, and then Sean went, what was that? And Luke said he could feel something behind him. And Sean swears blind he saw someone look over the table and look down again. And just at the time, Luke said, oh, what was that? Just touched me.
Yeah.
And this was on the desk in the office. So it was quite close. And the K2s were going up to the orange and down again, and then up to the orange and down again. So we knew something was changing in the room. We did a base check. We walked around, checked everything, and the K2s stayed green. So we knew it wasn't, nobody had their phones on anyway. And then we were calling out, and it went a bit quiet, didn't it? And we're thinking, oh, okay. And then we could see the corridor again. But, well, whatever it is, maybe it's gone. And then, I don't know, 5-10 minutes later, we were calling out, thinking, there is something here. We know there is. You could just feel. The corridor went dark. We said, children, is it you? Are you running around? Are you messing about? And then we heard footsteps, do, 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 do. And then clunk, like something fell on the floor. We're like, oh, okay. So we walked out into the corridor, and we looked down on the floor, and there's a little tiny toy sword laying on the floor that wasn't there, because Dora took 3 pictures before the noise. And when you look at her pictures, there's nothing on the floor. But then the sword had appeared on the floor out of nowhere.
How big was it?
Oh, only tiny little thing. Was it like
a little stick, tiny
like
stick,
a Lego type sort of size sword, just laying on the floor in the middle? And we thought we heard footsteps, and then something dropped. We said, what was that? We sort of looked in the office, then shone the torch down the corridor and went, what's that on the floor down the corridor? So Dora took 3 photos before. When we heard the footsteps, she just took quick photos. And when you look at the 3 photos, the sword is not on the floor. But when we turn the light and we look down the corridor, there it is in the middle of the floor, like this little tiny toy sword.
Yeah.
And that was a split second. We heard the footsteps, and then like something dropping to the floor, and this sword appeared on the floor. Amazing.
No one would have the sword, would they?
No. No, we
That's
were all in the
accurate.
office, so nobody had gone out in the corridor, and you couldn't have thrown it out there because it wouldn't have landed where it landed. So we had a
Did
cat
anyone-
ball out there.
Did you pick it
Sorry.
up and take it with you or anything? Or
I think who picked it up, Luke? It might have been Dora or someone picked it up to have a look at it.
I thought we left
Because
it.
they
I
went
think
to
we
pick it up. I said, don't pick it up. Take a picture of it before you move it. Because, you've lost evidence. Once you picked it up, that's gone, isn't it? You can't
yeah,
put it back down and say, well, I think it was there. So I said, don't pick it up. Don't pick it up. Take a picture, like you do. Take a picture because that is astounding. And I think Dora might have took a picture of it. Dora, if you're on here, was it you that took a picture of the sword on the floor? Anyway, we took a picture and then we picked it up. And this little tiny sword was very, very cold in the feel. But because it was plastic type sword, that could be just because it's plastic, it's cold, not necessarily anything to do with the paranormal. So,
but you would have thought plastic would have been like room temperature, wouldn't you?
But it was
Being
cold.
plastic. Yeah.
So whether it had come from a cold area of the house, we don't know. But it appeared just on the floor. There it is, there, right in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It's a little tiny toy sword. Amazing. It just literally appeared from nowhere.
Yeah.
But we heard the footsteps, and then Sean was going, I don't like this. I don't like this, because you could hear the footsteps. We're thinking, okay, where's this coming from? And you're waiting because the corridor had gone really dark. So you're waiting for someone to go, rah, boom. We wouldn't have been able to run and then I heard Gemma come up, Paul. The Gemma were in the office, come in here with us. So Gemma came in with someone else, a lady, and her friend Mike, is it? Who was there with his wife? Nick, sorry.
Nicky. Mickey.
Yeah,
No, sorry.
that's it.
Mick and Nicky.
That's it.
Yeah.
So we were all in the office. And again, we had the K2s going, taps and knocks and various things. And I think before they came, Gemma was in there and she's going, oh my God, who's in the corridor? And something was in that corridor, but we couldn't place it. It was just like dark as dark. It wasn't, I wouldn't say it was like a black mass or anything. It was just dark, wasn't it, Luke? Just dark. And then you would, a few seconds, 30 seconds, and you look back down and you could see the hallway again and the door. Then it would go dark again and you'd lose all sight of it. And you're thinking, we've got all the blinds shut in the office, so it couldn't have been the change of ambient lighting, because in the corridor there was no other lights, no windows. So it was just a dark corridor. So we shut the blinds just to see if we could get it a bit darker. So it couldn't have been the change outside that was causing the light and darkness. If the sun was out, you say, well, it's gone behind a cloud, but there was no windows down there at all. So how it would have changed light to dark, I don't know. But it actually went as dark and you couldn't see down the corridor and you couldn't see the fire door. It was literally less than 10 feet away, 15 feet maybe. So that was really interesting in there when the sword appeared on the floor after he'd been calling out. And then it went a bit quiet then when we decided to go and have a bit of a break then, didn't we, Luke? And wandered around. Where else did you get Julia in the house?
We did the psychic transfiguration. And then we went to have a coffee. The whole evening just seemed to go really fast. We were in the foyer and Jen was doing some psychic transfiguration as well. I think we went up into the corridor with you and a group of people.
Yeah.
What else were we doing?
It was like really going quickly, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, we went to the prayer room, which is the one with all like the bean bags in there, and we were all crammed in there. It must have been it's only a tiny room, probably about 8 of us, and we were doing like glass moving, and we put the ball on the table. We had like a ball, and that was shaking. We then put my shadow tracker light box was also flashing, so we put the glow in the dark ping pong ball on the shadow tracker in the middle to see if it could like roll it off, but it didn't. But we had an awful lot of stuff going on in the prayer room. We had like a couple of cars and a teddy bear, and we were sort of like trying to get it to like push them off the table type thing. we had like yes or no, are you a boy, are you a girl? So yes or no questions. But yeah, that was quite active, surprisingly, for us.
Yeah.
And the light box was flickering away all the time, and it just didn't stop. It was just really going, really, really active. And
I know.
another lady who was in there with us said, I feel when we, sort of like, I think it was time to go then. She said, I feel like there's a vent or something or window open. She said, I've got a real draft sitting here. And we had a look, and there was no vent, no draft. And I said, funny you should say that, because when we were in here last month, a lady sitting in exactly the same place as you said how cold it was, and she felt there was a vent or something over her, an air conditioning or something. So that was quite strange. But I think that was our last call. I think we went in there after Jenny was doing her psychic transfiguration.
Oh yeah.
We thought we've literally just got like 40 minutes left. Really wanted to do that room because it's quite active last time. We got a few bits in there, so I thought I really want to go in there and see what we get. But there's so many rooms in that place, so many rooms. And we even managed to get to areas that we didn't go to last time, especially sort of around the attic area.
Yeah.
A lot of the rooms are locked, unfortunately, but you've got the
Yeah.
corridor, and that does feel quite strange up there.
Very
There's
strange,
different
isn't it?
staircases, well, isn't there? Different staircases and
Gemma's
Julia,
put, remember also Beg the
begin.
night. Beg of
Oh,
the night, big hall,
yes,
leather doors. We did a human pendulum.
we did. At the beginning of the evening, we went into the room with the leather doors. I completely forgot about that. And we did the human pendulum in there. Gemma's friend Mick, no one was really sort of feeling being pushed or swayed or anything. So Mick, he came with us for his first ghost hunt to Merrist House. And he said, oh, I don't mind, I feel like I'm a bit swayy. I don't mind going in the middle. So I'm like, okay, if you want to volunteer and you're sure you want to go in the middle. So he went in the middle. And so I put my hands either side and I said, you'll just go with it. I said, but my hands are literally, inches from you. So whatever way you sway, you'll feel my hand tap you and put you back into the center. And I said, it doesn't, usually happen. You might not feel anything, you might not sway, it doesn't always work. And he was swaying. You could see him going backwards and forwards. And that was if I remember rightly, that was a lady who was hung on the tree for stealing jewelry. I think she knew the family. She was a family friend or something. And we also got like naked, blood, those sort of words come through as well. So I don't really know how they tied in with it. So that was really interesting. And we did that for about 10-15 minutes, and then you could see that Mick was starting to get a bit spooked by it, so we ended the session there. But we got some really good information, and he just said it was a really weird experience. He said, you just feel like zoned out, but you also feel yourself involuntary moving backwards or forwards with the questions. So yeah, I think he really enjoyed that, which was good. And it's good to see someone who's never experienced it before be
Yeah.
the pendulum. So what else has Gemma said? Also, I cannot get over the light of window. When we were leaving, packing up, no one in there, it came on all of a sudden, but this time was off, still baffling me. Oh yes, when we went last month, we were just packing up and we were in the car park saying our goodbyes. And Gemma goes, that light's just come on in the attic room. I think as you look up from the front door, it's over on the left-hand side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said, the lights just come on. And I looked up, what it's like, you're tired, you've had a long night. And I went, are you sure? And she said, yeah, it's just come on. I went, because if it hasn't, I'm going to have to go up and turn it off. Because, you're supposed to leave it, all the lights off and that sort of thing. And she said, yeah, it's just come on. I said, well, the door's locked now. I said, we can't get back in because we like pulled the door and you can't get back in. And she said, yeah, it's just come on, it's just come on. So, but this time it didn't.
I think
But
Gemma
then
had some pictures of that first experience. If
she
Gemma's,
has, yeah.
if you send us some pic to Angela, you can see the light actually on. It's quite a strange view of the light. I wouldn't say that was a light, to be honest, but if Gemma can send them, they're a very good photo of something going on in that room. But
Because
a
it
couple of
almost
times,
looks, it's got a greeny colour. It almost looks like
yes,
an emergency light.
yeah. But
Um,
we had a similar sort of thing in that office room when did we loot a couple of bits.
Yeah.
We thought, oh, it's a photocopier or is it something that's come on? Because there's
Yeah.
lots of things going on and off. In one room, we found like a photocopier flashing the light, so we could debunk that light flashing in that room as the photocopier because we all went in to have a look. And sure enough, the photocopier was like pulsing the light, like standby light type thing.
Yeah. We
So
tried to
we were
get to this
looking.
room this time because we thought, oh, we're going to have a look and, you know, we can debunk it. And we went all the way up to the attic. We're walking all the way round. And it's quite, when you're up there, you can't tell whether you're at the front of the house or at the back of the house. It's very disorientating. And we just couldn't get in there. The door was locked. And we're like, well, it was probably locked last time as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But we went to the attic room. That didn't feel right in there, did it, Luke? It was just something about that room. I really don't know. And I know the Spirit Brothers, they were in there for a long time doing a lot of stuff recorded for their YouTube channel. And we sort of saw him and said, oh, how are you getting on? He said, that room up there, he said, that's another level, isn't it? He said, we've had all sorts of things going off, REM pods and the bear and all sorts of different things going off in that room. But that room was just like you were on a rough ship crossing. You know, that light head feeling where you just didn't feel like you were connected to the room. And off that room was another room. So we opened the door and went into the little side room, didn't we, Luke? We were standing in there. And there was one of the ladies that was with, who was she with? Infinity Paranormal, I think. She went to come in and went, oh, no, I can't come in. And she said, a split second she went to walk through the door. It's like there was no floor. There was nothing there. And it's really freaked her out. And she said, no, I'm not coming in there. There's no floor. But there was a floor because we were standing on it. Either that or we'd hit the bottom of the house, one or the other. But she swore blind there was no floor in there, didn't she, Lou? There was no
there
floor.
was a fire. I think it was
That's
in the
right.
1950s. There was a fire.
In the upper level.
Yeah. So maybe she was getting some flashback of that when it was all burnt. You know, not a small portion was burnt. No one was injured or killed or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But she swears blind. There was no floor there as she went to step in, and it sort of freaked her a little bit. It sort of unnerved her a bit, and she wouldn't come in the room. She said, no. I don't know what. There was no floor there. I'm telling you, there was no floor. But obviously it was because we were in the room. And because she had her SLS camera, I said, well, is there anything in here? She said, no. But in the main room, they got quite a few things sitting on the chair. What looked like small children sitting in the chairs in the main room next to Alan. So they were sitting there. So it was quite interesting. So I said to my friend who was there, I said, go and have a look at the SLS camera and you'll see what they're talking about. You know, they're very welcoming, aren't they? Yeah, come and have a look, you know. And he's like, oh my God, there's someone sitting in a chair. But obviously it wasn't. We couldn't see it, but it was on the SLS camera, was mapping like a child sitting on a chair, which was interesting because that house would have been full of children at some stage of its, you know, of its life. But it was interesting. But going in that room in the attic felt very unnerving, very, very unnerving. And I think it was Alan that found the way up to the very, very top. You know, the three windows right at the very roof? Because we were on the middle floor and there, they found their way up even further than the servants' quarter, right up into the top. They went through an office and there was a staircase in the office. It was all open. So I can't quite see. Well, Gemma's got... Yeah, there's something there, but...
Yeah.
Whether it's an orb or I don't know what it is, you can see it in the top window. But Gemma's got some pictures of like a green light come emanating from that room, and they were found their way right up into the top attic, the top 3 windows. As you look at it, he said it was amazing up there. Some of the stuff they got up there was incredible, and I
So
think
I don't
that's
think
because
I've ever been up. I went to one area, and it sort of like went out onto the roof.
yeah,
But I don't know where Alan went. But it sounds really good.
yeah, they went through it. He said to me, he said, do you think we were allowed up on the upper level? I said, well, you can go to the servants' quarter, which, as far as I know, is the upper level. He said, no, it's windows above that level. And I'm like, well, I don't know. But obviously, if it's locked, don't force it. If it's open, you can go in there. Obviously, be careful. And he come back down. I said, did you find it? He said, yeah, we found it. We were up
Here
there.
he is.
We were up in the
Here he
attic.
is. Here he is.
Who's that, Alan?
Yeah, he said, yeah, it went across the roof outside and came out by the room you were just talking about.
There you go. And this is the light. I think this is one of Gemma's pictures. And
This was the first event at Merrist Wood we did, and we were all outside, and she was just taking pictures of the house, just as we were saying goodbye. And this is the light that just came on in one of the windows.
but it's green. We checked it when we were up
Yeah.
there, and it was white light, didn't we, Luke? We turned all the lights
Yeah,
on,
it was, yeah.
and every light was white. There was no green indicators and no green, nothing that could have caused the green light like that within the room. Because we actually turned the lights on to see if we could reproduce it. Because Gemma had showed us the pictures, and we're like, well, there's nothing green in the room. You know, even if you shone a light off the lights were all white fluorescent tubing or LED lighting. So they wouldn't emit the green light like that. And I think that's the room where my friend's wife saw the woman in the corner. Because I think that's the fan in the bottom, sort of on the bottom left corner. The dark shadow is the fan in the window. And she saw the woman to the right on the very, very right window looking out before she disappeared. So it's interesting to... And the other picture Gemma's got, you can actually see that light coming out of the window. So I'm not quite sure what that is, but the other pictures show it actually coming out of the window. So it's interesting. But wandering around, you know, and it's like Angela was saying when she went, you know, looking for a camera, there's a room off of a room, off of a corridor, off a room, and it'd be so easy to get lost in there because it's endless, it's vast.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look that big inside when you're actually in there. So what about yours? Can you see the green light that now appears to be outside?
Yeah.
Because you can't see the window frame through it. And there's like a green patch in the top sort of right corner. And that's the same room, which would appear, I don't know what anybody's thoughts are on this. So if you have any thoughts, please send the comments in and Andrew will kindly put them on the screen for us. But what are your thoughts on that? I don't know. Andrew, what do you think?
I don't know. Sometimes when you get a bright light, it looks like it's coming out and hiding stuff.
Right.
But it's in the room.
Yeah. What about the colour? What would you think about the colour? Could it be the camera or the exposure? I don't know.
I have no idea about that. Not knowing what was opposite, I can't really say.
Sure. Yeah. But that was the same room my friend saw the lady in, and she actually, when we went in the office, because we looked for the fan in the window, and she actually went to the far right hand window and just sort of huddled up in the corner there.
Yeah.
And we thought, what's she doing over there then? And she literally was crouched in the corner. She felt she, like I said in the beginning, she said she felt so emotional. She said she never feels like that. She said almost like something tragic. I feel so emotional in this room, but it's a very strange room to be in.
Also, when we're in the garden, I've just sent Angela a picture.
All right.
Ross got what looks like an orb.
Okay.
Cheryl was like hugging the tree, and beside her was this like orb.
Yeah.
I went, oh, it could be a bug or something. Anyway, I sharpened it and like lightened it, and it actually looks like a lady. To me, it looks like a lady.
Oh, wow.
And that was really interesting. So maybe that could be what was in the garden when you were there. But
yeah, we definitely heard something walking.
yeah, it was just a really really fantastic photo, and yeah, Ross did extremely well to get that.
Yeah.
But it's a really good photo.
But it
I
was,
think so anyway.
I think,
I wish it was mine.
yeah,
Can you see? It looks like almost a lady with like, it's like you can see feet, you can see a head. Almost looks like she's got like curly, scruffy blonde hair. I don't know if that's come out very well, but
no.
can you see that?
I can see something there, but I can't really make it out on this. Oh, I see. If you zoom in, you can see a face,
Yeah,
like a
and it
mouth,
looks
a
like she's
nose,
got
and
like
eyes.
black,
Zoom in,
Yeah.
wearing black with
zoom
like
on the
two little
white bit.
white.
Yeah, the top.
Up there, isn't it? Top bit.
If you're on a camera or a phone, you can actually zoom in on the screen. If you zoom in closer, you can actually see it.
Do you
The
want me to
nose
send
and
a
the eyes
zoom
and the
in?
mouth. Yeah,
Send a
I can
zoom.
see that now.
Not got no hair though.
It's little curly hair around it.
Strange, isn't it? What a great picture. And that was where, Julia, by the tree.
Yeah, it was literally to the right of the tree.
Oh wow. Because that's where we heard all the noise, wasn't it, Luke, on the right hand
Yeah.
side of the tree? Because we actually at one stage walked past the tree and walked downhill a bit because we could hear
Yeah.
what sounded
yeah.
like rustling or something coming through the bushes. You know, it could have been an animal, but nothing came out when we were there. But it was just like someone walking out of the trees, literally.
Yeah,
It's
this
saying,
was
you
the original photo. I don't know if
It's quite
where
big,
am I?
isn't she, woman?
This is the original photo. Can you see it?
it's like blinking
Where
out,
you can
isn't it?
see the tree with
It's
Cheryl hugging the tree, and
right.
there's an orb to the right. I don't know if you can see it.
All right.
It's not doing very well, is it?
No, it's not blanking it out, isn't it? So
yeah.
it was an orb appeared on the picture, did it?
Yeah.
Nice.
But
I think it's the venue that's got a lot more to give.
Oh, I definitely feel that we need to go back.
Because when I was there with the other group, it was on another level, and that took a few times of going before it actually really came alive. And that's after 2 or 3 times is when I saw my first apparition there. So, you know, each time I think they're trusting us.
Oh, Graham Bentley, that mist on the right looks like a face with curly dark hair from that distance. Yeah. It's I popped it in a group. Well, Ross popped it in a group.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really interesting, and anybody who's thinking about joining us, you know, it's Worplesdon, it's just outside Guildford. You know, it's just like a maze. The ground floor has some like pretty big rooms, but as soon as you go upstairs, it's just a maze of rooms and corridors. And you know, one guy that joined us said, he goes, oh, how many you got coming? And he said, oh, I prefer small groups. And I'm like, oh, you know, what's that? You know, what's a small group? And he goes, oh, I just prefer real small groups. I said, well, it might seem busy early on. I said, but after we've done the welcome talk, everybody disperses and settles into what they're doing. I said, and you probably won't see people for like hours. It's like, I didn't see Paul, I didn't see Luke for hours.
No, you didn't.
We didn't see anybody here, really.
Gemma,
Me and Luke.
didn't see Gemma for ages either.
Because I often wander around, make sure everybody's doing all right, and people are, you okay? You know, do you know your way back to get a cup of tea and that sort of thing, like we do. We wander around. I can't say that I saw anybody for hours, to be honest.
No,
we were wandering around, didn't we, Luke? And we were like, where is everybody then? They just like disappeared inside the house. It's just incredible. But we had, what else did we have, Luke? We went to a few places, didn't we?
When
With the voice recordings, didn't we?
I think Jenny and the other lady went off, and my phone said 6, and there were 6 of us standing there. Yeah.
By the tree.
Yeah.
Because there was 8 of us to start with, and then we sort of said, how many of us are here, Spirit? Can you tell us that? And it came out, it said 6, and there was 6 of us standing there.
Yeah.
So that was quite a good, I don't think it's pot luck, but I think that was quite a good contact with the number. but again, there was rustling and things and all sorts. And we even marched down a bit because the rustling was a little bit down from the tree. We're thinking it's got to be something come out of the tree. Got to be an animal, a deer, or something. But there was nothing in there because we shone the torch in and couldn't see anything in there. Because if it was an animal, you'd think you'd see the eyes light up, wouldn't you? From the light of the torch.
Or some scampering as you approached it.
Yeah.
Alan, what was your highlight of the evening? If you're still on here.
Because Dora had a really powerful torch, brilliant torch. So you think it would have lit up the eyes like cat's eyes, really, wouldn't you? Like an animal. But there was nothing there. We couldn't see anything in there. But we all heard it at the same time. So that was interesting. The garden was sort of coming alive, really, for want of a word. But
anybody that wants to join us, please do. It's a maze, and I've been there twice now, and I still haven't done all the rooms that I want to do. It's incredible. What's Alan said?
I think Angela's done a lot of the rooms, looking for a camera. The spirits definitely knew how to use the technology. Just can you elaborate on that, mate, a little bit more so we know what you're talking about? I know Angela went looking for a while for a camera last time she was there. She said, I've been gone ages looking for my camera. So I'm not sure where. But it is, Angela, isn't it? A room within a corridor and another room. And it's just literally a maze. But I think it's a house that's going to give more and more. Or I know it will do.
It's got a nice feeling about it. As soon as you go in, it's got a nice feeling.
Yeah.
But as the light goes down and you're walking around, I find I open a door. Like when I went to go in the blue room, I open the door and it's almost as if you catch your breath because there's something around. There's something there. There's something around there. I think it's definitely worth a few more visits.
So Alan's put, mine was in the conference room when we had a demonic voice come through on the spirit box and told us that he was the crying reaper. Blimey. We were. that was interesting then. But a couple of times, I don't know, we were upstairs in the corridor and I don't know what, but a few times in my head I could see like candles flickering on the walls. Like there was candles burning in the hallway. But there was nothing there. All the lights were off. There's no torches on. I think at one stage me and Luke were there and I kept turning towards thinking, what's flickering? And in my head I could see like what would have been a candle on a wall flickering. So I don't quite know what that was or whether, I don't know. But a few times I had that. Yeah. A few times we had that. And me and Luke went to the corridor on our own because it was all quiet then, so we get some good recordings. I've got to go through them, and I've got to go through the static camera to see what films on there, because that starts recording on movement, and when I look back at the camera, it switched on 18 times. So some of that will be people wandering around, won't it? Come through the corridor, wandering around. So some of that we're going to be able to debunk through people moving down the corridor, but 18 times, I don't know.
Yeah.
And a duration of about 15 minutes on each one. The camera will run, and then when the movement doesn't happen, it switches back on standby again. So it'd be interesting to go back through that and see what that's picked up. But there will be like humans walking around on the camera. There will be, as you're walking through that corridor and around and back and forward, and that corridor it's a very strange house. It's like a traditional old Tudor house, but it's square inside. And inside the square is corridors and rooms and corridors and more rooms. It's a very strange, maybe fire flames from the past fire. Could be. It could be, Graham. That's a good shout. Yeah. Alan's, but I kept being taken back to Victoria era where I could literally see the original rooms overlaid over the modern room. And it was just like that you would see in the candles flickering, like you'd gone back there. Do you know what I mean? How it would have been as a family home. So I think there is a great deal more to come from there. So it's worth going back in when you're going back there again, Judith. October, was it? Or
September's become quite busy. So
put you on the spot there, aren't I?
I think September's become quite busy, so I think it would probably be October. I'd like to do maybe go back to Waverley. August is quite free for me, so I'd like to maybe sort of get us all together and do a Waverley.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Or any other new place, if anyone's got anywhere they'd like to go. But be quite nice just to do like a freebie field event and get out there and and everyone to just meet up and do a casual, catch up
social
and go some
night
type thing. I know.
Our social night. We all get together and chat, which is great. We enjoy it. We love it. So what's the next event you got coming up then, Julia, with Paranation?
We haven't. Summer's quite quiet. August is quite quiet for us. We've done Merrist Wood on Saturday, and our next one is the 20th of September down in Portsmouth, Fort Pembroke. So we're quite local to some people down there. So so we're down at Fort Pembroke. I can't remember last time I was there, probably about 4 years ago. It must be about 4 years ago. We always do Widley because Widley's quite raw. Fort Pembroke has dungeons. The dungeon area in there is quite exciting. Looking forward to going back and seeing what we can get. So that 20th of September, we're down at Fort Pembroke. So God, I can't talk now.
The road from Angela.
Yeah,
that's a local venue, isn't it, Angela? That
it's
one.
a local one. You haven't got to travel too far.
It's very local, but I can't make that one either.
Oh no!
No, it's 18th on the 19th, so we're having a birthday weekend.
Bring Amy along on her birthday. We have a birthday party there.
Oh.
Bring a cake.
On the Monday.
Alan's on holiday as well. Oh no.
Angela.
And Alan's on holiday for that
Alan
one as well.
What's going on? But I've never been to Pembroke. I've been to Widley, obviously, but never Pembroke. Have you been there, Angela?
I can't remember. I don't think I have. Not for an investigation.
Right.
Been there for things, but
yeah. And is that on the same road as Widley then, or?
Yeah, it's just further towards, away from Southampton. I don't know what direction. East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it nearer the burger van or further away from the burger van?
The other side.
Yeah.
Oh no. So no 3 o'clock in the morning burgers then.
Yeah. Oh, it's a shame. It's I'm not doing very well with my dates at the moment, am I?
It's just a busy part of the year, isn't it, really, for everybody?
Yeah.
Holidays
it's a big one, isn't it? Is it a big one? A big one. So I won't say too much because we're live, but yeah, I think it's one of Amy's big ones. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh wow. How much? 18.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I know.
Amy.
That's something to celebrate, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
We best come to the party then, don't we? Bring the party to Pembroke. Party time at Pembroke. Have a rave in the cave at Pembroke.
Yeah, party Friday, ghost hunting Saturday.
There you go. What a great weekend. Can't ask for better, can you?
No.
Anyway, any other comments about coming in? So we will miss you, Angela, again.
Yes.
And Alan. We miss you.
Yeah, and Alan
a great deal Saturday. Yeah. There's a bit of a gap there where we look for you. So we miss you very much not being there. So that was it. That was our adventure from Saturday at Merrist Wood with Paranation. Go on to the website, paranation.co.uk. Book your tickets because Pembroke's coming up 20th. So there's a bit of a break between now and then. But we'll try and fit a Waverley Abbey in sometime during that time. So if you're available and you'd like to come along with us, it's a free venue, like Julie said. Come along and get a few of us there. It's quite an interesting place. Again, it's a place that's got many levels, many layers that have not been gone through. And every time we go there, something different happens to all of us. So it's well worth going there. Next Monday, we have a paranormal group coming on called Western Supernatural. They're coming on to chat about their group and their investigations. Really nice bunch of people. Myself and Angela met at a cryptid conference. We had a bit of a laugh, and it was a great good group to talk to. Some really knowledgeable guys there, and ladies, I should say, not just guys, ladies as well. So they've done lots, been where, done that, so that'll be interesting. So tune in next Monday for that. Coming very soon, we have the Spirit Brothers coming on, who are very big on YouTube. So have a look at their video from the weekend. He's done a live from the house on their YouTube channel. So tune into them. So we'll have, I think it's Daz and I can't think the other guy's name. It's Chris.
Cole?
I think it's Chris. Cole. It's one Daz and Cole.
Yeah.
But they're the Spirit Brothers. So they'll be on in a few weeks' time. They're gone for a well-earned rest on holiday. So Merrist Wood was the last squeezed-in adventure for them before their holiday break. So it'll be good to have them. And then, we have a few more people. If you want anybody, we can try and get some people. I'm trying to get another guy who's a very famous podcaster in the supernatural world called Tommy Cullen. He's just released another podcast out there, and I'll send a link to everybody if you want to have a look at it. It includes you as famous, you're truly on it. So have a listen to that, see what you think about that. So they've got many things coming up, and hopefully we'll be obviously back next week with Western Supernatural, which will be good to hear from them. They do down in the Somerset area. So that would be great to hear from them and their adventures. And it sounds like they've done some real great places as well. So hopefully they'll be on. We'll send them the link and they'll drop on next Monday. So it only remains for me to say thank you so much for tuning in. Alan, have a great holiday. Angela, we'll probably see you before, but have a great birthday party with Amy. Try not to let her get too drunk.
18.
She's legally allowed to drink now.
I know.
So rein her in. It'd be a right mess, wouldn't it, on a Sunday morning? Oh,
yeah.
Dear Amy.
I'm clean out.
Oh no, I've been there, done that. Yuck. So only remains for me to say thank you for tuning in tonight. It's a great investigation Saturday. So thanks, Julia, for taking us there. Another good investigation.
Thank you for thank you everybody for coming and joining us and for all the help and support. And we really do appreciate it. So thank you. And we had a great night. We had a great group of people, great group of newbies, and it was great to see people, friendly faces, like Infinity and
Spirit Brothers and
sorry, Mum, getting a bit tired now. It's been a long day. But it was really good to see everybody and good to make new friends as well, who also share our interest. So it was a really good night. Really enjoyed it.
Pop onto the paranation.co.uk website, get your tickets for Purbrook and Cogs Manor Farm and a few others coming up. Get yourselves on them. We'll be back at Merrist Wood at some stage of this year, probably October time now. So stay tuned for that one. And that's well worth going because I think it will just get better and better as the more time we go there. If we can get in, that is, we're allowed to get in. But there you go. We're not locked out. So it only remains me to say have a very, very safe week. Thank you for tuning in again on a Monday night. And we'll speak to you all next week with Western Supernatural. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.